We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and also special, again, thanks to LegalSoft. We have been talking to amazing attorneys, and today I'm excited to welcome the program Gerard Karikari, Esquire. He's an immigration lawyer. Gerald, thanks for stopping by, man. And New Yorker, right? New York. So I love New York, and I always went to the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden growing up when Pitt would be pretty good. And then, they did pretty decent this year, but I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but MSG is the best to see basketball for sure.
Yes. I'm Big East all day. Syracuse, undergrad, St. John's Law.
Oh, man.
I went to, Felipe Lopez, Louis Carson-Seca. Yeah, Big East basketball was the best.
Okay, so I remember the days of St. John's as well. And then Pitt, in those years, you were looking at Jerome Lane, Demetrius Gore, Charles Smith, all those guys trying to beat St. John's, Georgetown with Patrick Ewing. Oh, we're definitely going back for sure.
Rolly Massimino, Villanova.
Oh, yeah.
Four of us, Jim Boeheim. I think we're the only conference to ever have the whole Final Four be a Big East.
Yeah, I remember that year. That was the greatest year, and that was the year before Pitt was admitted to the Big East. I guess we're aging ourselves, Gerald, but let's go to the first question. Why did you decide to practice law, and was this something you wanted to do your whole life?
I've always been a closet intellectual. I always wanted to know why. You really just couldn't tell me an answer, and I accepted. You had to explain it, and it had to make sense. So I've been in this mode since I was a kid, and so it just made sense for me to go into the law. So I got an opportunity to act it out.
Why did you choose to practice this specialty in law?
Oh my goodness. This is a country of immigrants. I thought it was part of my journey as an immigrant myself, and the sacrifices my parents made to bring me to the United States made me feel like I had to return the favor. And these immigrant communities and businesses that hire immigrants and bringing that global talent from all around the world is exciting. It's a good way to give back.
So let's talk about where your parents are from, and about a little bit about that background with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're from Ghana, West Africa. I was born there. I came here at 6 years old. My father came as a student here. He went to NYU and brought my mother and I. So I lived my first few months in America on the campus of New York University, Washington Square Park, the Village. And so that was a very different opening from back where I was from.
That's got to be important when you're working with your clients, to tell your brand story, to tell your story to people, because the more passionate we're about what we do and our story, the better we build that relationship with our client. So when you tell that backstory that you too were an immigrant, and how important it is to help other people live the American dream, it's important to tell that story, right?
Exactly, because I want them to understand that there's nothing they can't tell me, nothing I haven't seen or experienced, or my family members have seen and experienced. And so it's very important, because obviously you have your trials and tribulations of maybe coming from another country with education, but your license is not valid here in America. And so you are trying to survive. And so people who have college degrees, a CPA, a doctor, a scientist, and they're washing cars, they're waiting tables, they're driving taxis. I know that story. And I want my clients to understand that I know their story. And so as quickly as I can get them situated so that they can try to rebuild the career they had started back home, the better for me, the happier I am.
And that story is so important to tell people it's okay, because there's got to be a lot of stress involved to locate to the United States and having to hire someone like you, right? There's a lot of, you said, that either not making the money they were used to making, not living the lifestyle they used to be making, maybe leaving because there's war torn in that country and they always wanted to live in that country for the rest of their lives, and they ended up in the United States. Kind of describe those feelings.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I will tell you, just like your had a past life as an entertainer, we try to reach out to the entertainment group as well, right? So those people looking for their big shot, whether it's New York music scene or California, Hollywood acting. If you are an artist, entertainer back home in the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, and you think that the US is the place that your career is going to skyrocket, and you want to take that big shot at the stardom, you need a visa first. You need a way to get here. And so that's one of the things that I do in terms of getting acts and artists here from visas from all over the world to the US. And that's part of the story. So not only do we have doctors, lawyers, all types of tradespeople who are coming to America to start out a life because things weren't working out there, or they just have bigger dreams than their little city can hold. I don't know. You say you were from Pittsburgh. I don't know. I see all those stories of Darrell Revis and other athletes coming out of coal mine country, and they want to get to the big city. So if you're in a small little town and you think the big city is New York or Atlanta or Miami, I can help you get there.
And that's really interesting. We're going to get more into who you serve. We understand why you chose this. Tell me the journey of how you grew your practice, because guess what? We all, we graduate from law school. We want to start a practice, and it's a process. It's not easy, right?
Exactly. No, it was taking. First, learning your craft, and then starting the work of getting your name out through the community. So definitely for a long time, it was primarily referrals from previous clients, then became the churches, then it became civic organizations. And then I was able to find support with LegalSoft, and they helped me put my website together and started me on the social media road and started to let people know that these are the communities you have to touch and reach in their social media, in their periodicals, in their publications. And that's kind of how I started. And that grew my practice to start adding staff from Africa, from China, from India. And so that's when you start to get certain clienteles and groups. And that's how the office got to be as big as it is to be able to serve a national clientele.
That's very interesting. You talk about the scaling. We'll get further into that a little bit, the LegalSoft story, but really to look at specifically enough when you're trying to grow a practice to know you got to scale, because there's only one of Gerald. You can't have you every second, every day answering the phone. I'm the same way. I wish I could duplicate everything I'm on, interview. I can't be serving a client at the same time. And clients want responses immediately, especially because of social media, especially because of digital products and stuff like that. That's why you saw the importance to scale. What kind of gave you that answer that, man, I can't be just working a 16-hour day, which, lots of doctors, lawyers, engineers are just used to doing, working the longer hours than an 8-hour day. When did it start to drain on you? You said, I got to learn these better processes to scale.
Right. No, it became an issue with my children. My children started to have football practice, lacrosse practice. My daughter started doing gymnastics. And if you want to spend time with your family, you certainly want to provide for them. You certainly have to pay for those activities. But if you want to actually see it and participate and provide guidance, you've got to figure a way to scale without you being in it. And that's what's been helpful in terms of trying to put systems in place so that when you call, I'm not the only person who can respond. And in fact, we even have a system where you can go online and check the status of your case while it's without anyone from the office. So you can also look at your file and see all the documents we've received and all the documents that are still waiting for review. So that helps a lot.
Oh, it definitely does. What makes your law firm different from other immigration law firms?
I think one is just the fact that all the staff have an immigrant story. And so you'll find yourself with people who know who you are, what your story is, right? And you don't have to do all the explaining. And then on the reverse side, we have a very tight training team to be able to kind of walk you through a lot of hand holding in terms of where your situation is, what the law requires of you, and we take that time. You know, there are some places you might go and they'll just tell you, sign this, we'll take care of everything, let it go. No, you'll know why we're asking for these documents, what documents we need and why we need them. And then, of course, how much of a chance you have to be successful, what are the criteria and factors that will determine your likelihood of success. And that's something that I think is invaluable, because we can break it down into very simple components for the most sophisticated of clients, as well as some of the more basic clients who just really want to understand what is required of them.
So let's kind of go into this type of field. I have no idea about it because it's not spoken upon. You know, people go to the United States for a dream, as you talked about. I'm interested in the whole entertainment thing. Look forward to talking to you offline about that, because I'm running into, you know, there's could be a lot of different collaborations going on. And that's what's so great about the power of podcasting, radio, and television. But let's go into this. What does an immigration lawyer do? There's got to be so many different reasons they contact you. It could be they've been in the country for years, right? And they're trying to finally become an American citizen, but kind of go all into all of them.
Sure. So we kind of separated between the things that happen in the immigration court with deportation on the line and the things that happen in the immigration offices. So there are two big points, right? Employment-based sponsorship, where companies move their multinational employees all around the country and the globe, and they have to get them here. So that's from the big boys of Coca-Cola and Pepsi to small little businesses. I ran a baklava shop back home in Israel or Greece or wherever. I'm going to open the same thing here. And for that, I need some Eastern European or Greek bakers. And we don't have any of them here in New York, which isn't likely. Maybe Pittsburgh. And so Pittsburgh business looking for Eastern European or Greek bakers might be a challenge, but that doesn't mean you don't have a chance to make your dreams come true. We, immigration or attorneys, can help step in the gap and file for your relatives, your cousin, your friend who worked with you back home, and send for him because he has the years of experience and the credentials to come and work for you. So there's a whole world of business employers who are bringing people in, farmers who are bringing grape pickers and the whole host of those group. And then there's your personal stuff. Every citizen or lawful permanent resident here in the United States is entitled or is given the privilege of asking for their family members to join them. And so that's what I think most people know about, right? That's what they make movies about. Who was that? I was going to say Jennifer Garner, but it wasn't Jennifer Garner. Might have been the other Jennifer. Played a role where she was with someone from Canada trying to get a green card for their spouse, right? And so you have to prove that, one, you are really related, right? So parents and children and brothers and sisters are easy. Spouses require proof that this is a real relationship. And then those are the types of sponsorship cases that most people know about. Then finally, for those who don't have a relative here who can sponsor them, the people who come must apply within 1 year for refugee or asylum applications, saying that they're afraid to return to their country for fear of being persecuted on account of their race or their religion or their political opinion. So those people who are, let's say, LGBTQ, and their country is not very accepting of them and their lifestyle, can show that they are not able or unwilling to go back to their country. And the United States provides them protection. And that's Cubans, Haitians, a host of countries that you know are in turmoil.
And being in New York City, you have the hotbed of people choosing New York as their destination, right? That's so true. If you've not, is that just basically, would you say that's the #1 place in the United States that people want to be, is New York?
Yes. I mean, we have the county of Queens, which is the most diverse county in America. And so as the Statue of Liberty sits there, it still beckons to people to come. Your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And that's where the challenges become in the overall system and the politics of the scenario, is that this is a country of immigrants. And so when you go away from that, what are the negatives? How does that affect the country's soul when you're no longer trying to be accepting of immigrants and new people? They're the new blood, right? Google has two foreign-born, founders. And so what would the world be without Google? You want to be in a position to continue to invite people who want to work hard, who want to strive for success, to come and join that American milieu and make America great. So I think we have to stick with that Genevieve,
Yeah.
that blood that rushes into America that makes it a great and wonderful place.
So let's talk about businesses. That you talked about relatives, but what about big companies? Do you work with big companies as well in New York that were looking to bring in different positions that they cannot hire someone in the U.S. talented enough to work that position? Does that happen too?
Yes, definitely. So you have mid-sized companies with 300 employees, but they need certain engineers, right, with skills, right? So I was talking about the easiest ones that people, I guess, understand are, a halal butcher, a kosher chef, those types of specialty areas. But there are also technical people who code and design websites and other technical skills that generally there's not enough of, right? It's a war of bodies. How many bodies can you dedicate to fixing or solving a problem here in the United States? And unfortunately, at this point, we're not graduating the number of engineers and math science people to really be able to throw bodies at it as we would like to in terms of efforts to solve all of our major problems, right? The academic institutions, Columbia, NYU, they're looking for researchers and scientists. We're trying our best to deal with breast cancer and a host of those diseases. We need those bodies to spend time trying to find the answers and solutions. And so that's where immigration attorneys help students. And of course, Michael Bloomberg, when he was the mayor of New York City, he said it was the worst thing we ever do is invite people to come and get a student visa here in the United States. And then they take all the knowledge, the degree, the license, and they take it back home. And so for America to continue to be competitive, we should keep some of those people.
And so student visa, how do you become a citizen of the United States? You're in that process too, right? You're involved in that all the way up to that. How long is that process once you get into the United States?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, on how. So student visas, you would finish your schooling. Then most people go to an H-1B, which is a temporary work visa, and they would renew that. And then they would get a employer to sponsor them for the green card. And from the green card, 3 or 4 years, from 3 to 5 years, then you could apply for citizenship. So it could be 10 years for those people.
Wow.
Versus, it's a lengthy journey. Versus if you marry a U.S. citizen, you're talking about 2 years to get a green card. After 2 years of having your green card, you move to 3 years, and then you can apply for your citizenship.
So it's a long process, and that's why you have to have the right attorney, because a lot of people say, "Oh, you just marry an American citizen, you become an American citizen." Not true. You could stay in the country.
No.
That's it.
Right.
But you still have to hire an immigration lawyer, even if you're staying in the country. If visas are not updated or different things like that, it's bad news, right?
That's right. There used to be, so at one time it didn't matter, and they didn't check social media. Now, if you have anything negative or anything challenging, let's say, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble because they do request to see your social media profiles. So, be careful of what you might be doing, whether here in America while you're here, and obviously what you did back home, right? It's Google, Facebook, Instagram, all of those things they watch and they see. Certainly, people are challenged by those types of things, as well as rules and regulations. You thought that you could go home and visit. When you came back, they said you had stayed home too long. Your visa has expired. You need somebody to help you. a DUI, any type of infraction while you have your permanent residence could endanger your aptitude to be able to stay here in the United States. And so you would need an immigration attorney to come to the rescue and explain to the court why you should be allowed to stay if you got into anything from tax issues to like people don't know or haven't been informed when they try to do things themselves. They didn't know that tax filing may be incorrect, or you missed the tax filing, and that could jeopardize your ability to become a citizen. And so the benefits of having an immigration attorney alongside you is immeasurable. You really don't want to do this by yourself. It's like people say they do write the IRS tax code in English, but I don't suggest you try to do it yourself, right?
No doubt. You are the expert. So when you met with LegalSoft, because you were really nice about talking about LegalSoft earlier in the interview, how's it helped grow your practice? You talked a little about the scaling process, but let's go further and break this down further of why you found LegalSoft, why you know you needed them, and really the story a little bit further.
Right. It becomes a question of being a strategic business partner and trying to ascertain which way you want to go. And so, for example, a website that I would be just like a business card on the internet versus a website that has the level of functionality to help a better customer service experience, right? And so LegalSoft helped me come up with that idea of a portal for clients to be able to check in on their case and immigration, how it's pending, it's active, they're waiting for something. Those are things that when you have a good partner, you can scale up and bring that level of service, because you now get to see that by providing that extra service with technology, you now can serve more clients, and that can help you scale rather than hiring 5 people to answer those questions that clients may have. They can go to the website and check for themselves at karkarilegal.com.
That's great, and that's fantastic. And then the growth of your firm, it continues to grow. What's the newest things happening with your firm, and what are your goals?
Okay. Well, we have piloting, or we'll hopefully be ready to have our app ready so that clients can have a Karikari Legal app. That way they can check on things, they can make an appointment, they can do everything from the app. And that's going to be a powerful, lawyer in your pocket type of situation. So if you get stopped, if anybody questions you about your situation, you hit the app and now you can get some responses and get somebody on the phone.
Fantastic. Again, and the best place to find information on you is go where?
karkarilegal.com.
All right, fantastic. And people contact you today. You need an immigration lawyer, you are the guy to contact in New York. Are you serving just New York or all the New York area?
We're national, obviously. So if you get coming back from Tijuana on your nice junket and something happens, let me know. Call me in San Diego. If that's a thing as well, is that generally there are very few immigration attorneys who also will come and get you out of the airport when they say something's not correct. So if it's JFK, if it's MIA, if it's LA airport, and the border patrol officers are giving you a hard time, it's time to call Karikari Legal, and myself or some of my associates will come to wherever you are and help you resolve the situation.
Well, fantastic. So that's fantastic across the country. That's the other thing. It's not just New York, everywhere. And you said there's not tons of immigration attorneys. So definitely contact Gerald today. I appreciate it, Gerald.
Thank you. It was great.
All right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.